Hi, this is Elliot Wave Sage. Like always, none of this is financial advice. Always do what's best for you. Just use this for your education and entertainment purposes. So today was, I would say, pretty big squeeze and kind of a blow off, euphoric day which is typical in a Y corrective move, especially in a bear market. They try to get all the shorts, kind of demoralized and get as much FOMO as possible. This is typical what you see. And I'll just kind of go back. What today reminded me of was actually way back trading. This we'll go all the way back to March 2020's decline because I remember this situation very well. When we got this day here in March. So we were coming down, right? We topped out here. We had that first big drawdown, and we had this nice bounce. It was very euphoric, very similar to what we saw today, with like euphoria, anger from bears that decided to short in the hole. Where I said multiple times there was no short trade until actually today. A lot of people think, oh, you're an idiot. You're blown up. Your shorts are all blown up. Guys, I didn't short the market. I would have been on the sidelines waiting for a day like today. Finally, we got one. So today was probably the first day you could make somewhat entries on the short side. So that's what this reminded me of. And everyone here proclaimed the correction was over, the dip. All the perma bulls were already projecting new highs, 360. All the subscription services that that are out there, we're all saying 360. But you know what Elliott Wave Sage did here? He dumped a big short position, and the rest was history. And they did not see this coming. I remember when this pivot broke, those perma bulls, the subscription service saying we're all going higher. They were in disbelief. They were dumbfounded. They were dumbfounded what happened. They couldn't believe what had happened to them and their members. Their members were so mad. I wasn't. So I think today was reminding me of that. It's like kind of from an emotion standpoint. So that's all. Just some share. It may not be nothing, but it just could be everything. So it's yet to be seen if we'll come back and break this low. I think we will. And I think we'll look back at a lot of people that have been led by a lot of shepherds out there that probably let them right off a cliff. Now today would have been a good day to take profit, especially if you did stick your neck out and buy this dip, because you had a nice three-wave reaction. You definitely have erased divergence. Look at the massive hidden bearish divergence in the RSI there, and even the 45 way overbought. Getting overbought here. Way extended, and we also have 15-minute bearish divergence, which is perfect for kind of pinpointing a top. So everything works out. We have three, everything's perfect. This is a perfect alignment for a potential short entry in the SPY right now. Can it go higher? Sure, it could still push up and just keep, it could still do that. But I believe when it turns, that's it. It's going down. Now, a lot of bulls will hope for a 4 and a 5, right? So a lot of people are going to be hoping for this. Okay, that. Now, if we see that, then obviously we have to back off. And, of course, we would be stopped out of our position with a minimal loss. And then obviously, it's a different correction. But if it isn't that, and it's what I have here, then we could get a big drop. We could also still be an X, and we could get another big drop like this and like that, where we get a big expanded flat in a connector that destroys every side of the market. So I'm watching for that too. So we may not come all the way down here. We may get a connector that does like a big drop and maybe we break this low, maybe we don't, but we come close somewhere down here, break it, and then we rip back higher, all the way back up, maybe even fill that gap, and then a spectacular crash and why. That's what I'm starting to think will play out. That's all, just thinking right now. No evidence to say that will happen, just my thoughts on the market. So the market could still go higher, of course, but when it will reverse. These stochastics just aren't going to go up forever. The 45-minute isn't just going to go up to 120, isn't just going to cut, at some point, you're going to have the other side, the back end of the cycle. This is going to correct. We just don't know when. Could it be the CPI news? Maybe. If the CPI comes in really hot, I could see the market getting obliterated tomorrow. I can. No rate cut in September, gone. No 50 basis point in your face. The market will be, the market would see that as stagflation. Basically, slow growth and inflation not coming down. That's a typical, that would be perfect to get this move going on the downside, a hot CPI report. But it doesn't have to be. It could be the war with Iran. It could be so many other things. It could be Walmart's earnings. It could be anything. Who knows? But anyway, the setup was there today for those who wanted it, and people that were DMing me going, oh, you lost a lot of money, you dummy, and all this shit. Guys, I wasn't short in the market here. I mean, if you watch my videos, I was telling you, I wasn't recommending trading this area at all. Sidelines until today. Sidelines until today. Did not enter the market until today. I watched the traders battle it out, squeeze themselves to death, the bears capitulate, and then I'm starting to step in now. That's how I'm doing it, guys. So if you lost a lot of money shorting it too early, you're not listening to what I'm saying, and you're taking too much risk. And if you decided to buy here because you couldn't help yourself, just if the CPI is hot, we could be opening up down in this area where my cursor circle. We could be down 1,000 points on open, easy, if CPI is hot, like really hot. So you took a big risk buying long in this area. But we don't know how it'll play out. So let's go to your comments and questions and super chats, and hopefully I can go ahead and give you guys an answer. Hold on one second. Hold on, I just got to text somebody back. Okay, so here we are. Nirvan Marchand. Let's take a look at some of these MOS and CGC. And as I'm doing that, there was really good alignment across the market. A lot of things were in sell areas. There was just a few stocks that were not still. AMD could have more upside, for example. So it's not perfect alignment. That's why the market could still push a little higher, but it's looking pretty good. MOSS. So we don't have that. All right. So I'm just going to pick one of these, and that's the one you get. All right. This can't be it. I can't analyze that. So put in the chat what you want, and I'll go to CGC. Here, CGC. Let's take a look at where we are with it. So like most of the market, it broke down. The bullish case was negated. Like I said, a lot of technical damage has been done. It's sad because it will prolong the bear market now. But let's take a look. We had an AB. This really had to hold. It didn't hold here. As you could see, it's a connector for this whole swing series. So we're in a more complex correction still. And it looks like it needs one more swing down, like the rest of the market does. So yeah, so I'd say it's still in 2. As long as we hold above 262, it should be okay. But it decided to take a more complicated path to get to this wave 3 eventually. And I do see it going lower. we need to take out all that divergence. We got to take this all out. So it's got to go lower and break that low and hold above that low. If it could do all those things, then you may have a bottom. Good luck on that. The other alternative, just to show you, is you're still in this X wave like this, and then you get into this count here, something like that. So just keep that in mind. But there's no way to really know. That's why I don't like trading these kind of structures. I would never trade anywhere in this. Now I would have tried to buy this here, and then you would have come out and got stopped out for very minimal loss. But then once that happens, I don't trade it anymore. I won't go back and trade it unless it decides to drop like I have it here. MOSS, let me see if you put in the chat here what you want with MOSS. Oh, MSOS. Okay, I got you. All right. So let's see what we've got here. MSOS. So the downside move has been playing out just like we expected it to here. So this only looks like 3 waves. So that wouldn't be a correct way to label that 5. So my guess is it's still in wave. So there's 2 things that's going to happen here. It's some kind of end in diagonal. They'll do something like this. And it will maintain bullish divergence as it does it, or it will crash, erase divergence, and this becomes a 1-2, and then it goes even lower. I mean, we nailed this one right. Look, we got the buy here, the short here, and now it's trying to finish this move out. I don't think it's finished here. I still think it's got some more downside coming, but what that looks like is unknown. All right, but I do believe it's not, because that's in 3. If that was more like 5 waves, you could talk yourself into it being done. You could talk yourself into it being done. But if it isn't, unfortunately it isn't. So you're going to have to endure, I think, more downside in this. But not much. If it's in 5, not much more, I don't think. Now, if it's a 1-2, 1-2, it's crash wave. Crash wave. Okay. Kaylee, let's go to your question. See here, Sava. Wolf, I can't emphasize enough. You do not trade the X with the connectors area. I don't trade. Now you may want to trade. You could trade whatever you want to, but I don't recommend ever trading. Even though I show my charts, I don't ever recommend trading those connector waves, and I usually almost never take a position in a connector wave because it's just too difficult. They're not good setups. So this is a strange looking chart here, right there with that dip and pump there. It looks like it's an ABC, so yeah, that's good. And then that's a 3-4. Yeah, so one more low. So it needs one more low, and then it should have a bigger retrace, but I think it's going to stay below 42.24. So do this, and then make a low and have a big retrace up. And God knows it can go even higher. And then at some point, when the market, I think, is ready to really get this bear market going, you'll get this, the wipeout wave. Now, you know, there's no guarantee, right? I mean, this is what I think will happen. It can always be a 1-2, 1-2, and it just crashes. So again, would I buy this? Heck no. I would never buy this. I would never short this. The area of the short was here. The area of the short was here. This, you do nothing. Sidelines. You watch it play out. But I'm just showing you what I think is going to happen. Wolf, let's see, that one keeps coming up. Seems to be a favorite of everyone to trade. So let's see here. So we want more downside, but this may have decided to take a 5-wave structure. Let's go to the 45, and you see that divergence. So this is a classic ABC correction here. So this is pretty bearish if that's B. So I don't think, honestly, I don't think that's the case. I think this is what's going to happen here with this thing. I think it's going to do something like this, the full people in the stock market, and do something like that, and come back up to like 457, and then it'll crash. Then I'll have this C leg. So I think it's going to do something like that. Now this B can keep going down. We don't know where it's going to end. Again, I never would trade this. Ever, 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 ever trade it. Now, when it starts its C leg down, we can find a buy area. This is sidelines, nothing. Let me repeat, I do not recommend any trade in here. I would not short it. I would not go long. I would be on the sidelines, but I know people love to trade this. So I'm just giving you what I think can happen. So I'm just emphasizing that because I have a feeling people are getting chopped to death right now in the market, and they're mad, and they want to blame, you know, people for their you know, decisions, and you can't blame other people because I'm telling you not to trade this area, but some people just want to trade those middle areas. God knows why, and you lose your money in the chop, and that's what's happening. Very few people made money on this pump, guys. Very few. There have been some. I bet they sold a lot today. They lightened up. Okay, so GME, you know, we're looking for a bigger dip here. Again, we're trying to find where is this fifth wave. We have a 1-2. Now, I was thinking a 3-4-5, and we pull back, but this is too shallow. So this, and here you erase divergence. So you kind of lost. It kind of morphed into something else. Let's look at the 4-hour. This is a connector. So this is a connector. Now you erase divergence. So it did come up as an impulse. Cool. We did get the pullback, and now we're moving up in another wave. But I mean, that would be unusual, right? Very truncated, but technically you've erased divergence. This is very technically possible. A very truncated move. If this is corrective, then it'll just come all the way back down and break the low. Now, this doesn't seem probable, right? It doesn't seem likely. So more than likely what's going to happen is we're going to pull back either in a 2 and then finish this C leg out and finish it out. And then, who knows, or we're still in B in a big mess. So we don't know. But breaking this high is kind of good because I think that indicates more upside, but it could be a drop. You know, we could be stuck in this connector and B and get C later. Or we could just get C tomorrow. We don't know. So I think that's kind of where we are. But I do think now that we broke this high the way we did, if we do drop in a flat in B and a big flat and we drop, I believe this is buyable for a trade on the C leg against this low at 1872, depending on how much risk you want to take, depending on how deep this goes, how correction. I don't know. And then, of course, if you get C, you want to get a 4 and a 5. If you don't, you get a corrective move, and then it just goes to new lows. Silver's tricky because it's trying to figure out what it wants to do. Silver has only done a corrective move. It doesn't know. Are we going to crash? I mean, literally crash. Or are we going to pump up here and get up to 30? And then that would be more bullish. It would even support a potential, a different count in this area here. But again, this is just sideways chop. So what silver is going to do is like flipping a coin right now. I think it's going down. But what do I know? What do I know? I think it's going down. I think wave 5 extends and then finishes up. That's what I think is going to happen. But, you know, that's just what I think based on the dollar index and everything else. Now, we can look at the ETF real quick and see if that looks any different. We could look at the ETF really quick. If I can find it. Oh yeah, it's in commodities. I'm in my commodities section. There it is. All right. So we have silver. So we had this 1, 2, 3 leg move here, but you see you have that divergence. So that divergence needs to get erased. That's why I think we have one more swing down. And then of course we're looking for this fifth wave. Now if we don't get this fifth wave, it's a flat. And we've already talked about what the flat means and what it probably means for the overall market, like catastrophe. So I think it's got another swing down. Just like I showed you that fifth wave has to pull down more. I think it's got another swing down. It really should erase this divergence here. Let's look at the daily and see how that looks. So that looks a little better. That looks a little better. Let's look at a little bit closer here. Yeah, you know what? Looking at the daily, you could talk yourself into that being done here, a major low on the ETF. You could. So you could talk yourself into that, but it's still only 3 up. So the market really hasn't decided yet until it makes another push above 2564. So, you know, so I guess you could try to, maybe I take it back, looking at the ETF. I hadn't looked at the ETF. So looking at the ETF, maybe it's showing us a clue that silver has more support here. Now, what it also shows, I think, is if that low breaks, then it turns into an extension in 5. But then you're going to probably get bullish divergence unless you can pull. You would have to pull this down, erase the divergence, but then on the shorter time frame maintain the divergence, and then you could still be in 4. So yeah, it's really a tough call. I mean, it's a tough call here. I think it can go either way because you don't have a lot to erase divergence, like on the daily. Like it won't take much to take it down to take this out. So I think it could still drop, keep divergence erased, and then just extend that fifth wave, the final swing, and then everything kind of lines up better. But anyway, I guess you could try to buy it if you want to. But I wouldn't be surprised if it does make it down here, like I was saying, and then it finds support in 4. All right, good luck on that. Silver's tricky. It's a very tricky structure. So good luck with that one. All right, let's go to the next one. ARC Wellness Center. I don't know if I remember ever doing ZVIA. Let's see here. All right, looks like it's playing out just like we thought. So see that? No change of plan. It looks like we called that pump, and we're getting it in this again. The market loves this kind of trap here. The market loves to do this. That's why I'm expecting almost the indices to do that to us soon. So there you go. So I think it's got to play out. How high it can go really high. We don't know. There's no rule on that. So it's just I think as long as the swings are there, you could keep pushing. But I think at some point it will fail and then be an awesome short opportunity. Okay. Yeah, got that MSOS. I already did Wolf MC. I'll go to BTBT. That's one that used to be really popular and now no one really asks about it. So BTBT, I have it in this kind of strange looking 5 waves up and an AB and a 1-2 trying to push down to kind of basically double bottom here. And so far it's like exactly played out like we want it. Like, I mean, it just filled in perfectly for us. So that would be like a 1-2. And, something like that. Now this could even be another 1-2. This could even be another 1-2. So yeah, I think that's what we're looking at for that one. Jasmine. I don't know if I've ever remembered doing that one. All right, let's take a look. So we'll just start from this low and kind of look at it. That's a good divergent. I mean, it just looks pretty impulsive to me. So I think it's pretty safe to label it this way. And yeah, maybe you put it there. So now we need this this to play out. It looks like it's short of our area where we'd want to find support. Yeah, so we're looking for it at this 0.00816 area here against the all-time low. So we're looking for it to continue lower. Looks like an ABC correction. You know, something like this. 2 could even be done. It may come back up. You know, 2. So we don't really know for sure, but I'm expecting it to go lower into this area. And this is where you want it to find support. If it can't find support there, then it's a massive expanded flat where it was like an A, B, C. This was a connector, and essentially it's a go to zero coin. So it's do or die for this crypto in this area. This is the area where it's got to make kind of its last stand, or it's game over for whatever these guys do. Jonathan Groves, yeah, let's look at the TEM. Jonathan Groves, let's see here, TEM. You notice a lot of these charts I just put up, like the last 6 or 7, pretty much they all lined up. So I mean, the market's behaving pretty technical, pretty as expected. So we'll have to just you know, kind of trust. Like in chaotic times, we just want to trust the chart. So this one looks like it's still in B here. We're still going down in B, is what it looks like to me. So yeah, so you got something like a flat. It's another one of those expanded flat corrections, but because you broke that low, we know it's going to fail. So again, I think we need to anticipate more. The market just loves to do these kind of corrective moves in the B wave and X wave, where you come in, you break the low, you swing back up, and then you crash. It's just the market loves to do that. That's what I think it's trying to do here. So where can it go? So we need an impulse to finish out C. And no divergence. I think today was it. So I think more than likely it peaked today. So that's probably it. And then we should make a low, and we may not go all the way back down there, but let's see here. So 3019 2603 is what I'm looking for. Something like that. So that's what we're looking for. Should be ending at any moment. I think NVIDIA was in the short area today. A lot of SOX was in the buy area. The only thing that didn't really line up with that was AMD wasn't lined up perfectly with that, with the semis shorts. But we'll have to wait and see how that plays out, because it looks like this is some kind of AI play. Okay, good luck with that. All right, Reynaldo, AG. Let's take a look at AG here. So AG is still moving higher, which was good. It looks like it found the end of wave 3 right here and pulling back. So again, you have 3 waves. So there's no guarantee you'll get the 5. So now that the 3 is in, you either got to get the 5, which will confirm the low, or you won't, and it'll just melt down and you'll break the low, and then 2 is going to go down. So there's really no way to know. There's really no way to know. And that's how silver's trading right now, the metal itself. We just don't know. The market it needs to push above this high. It needs to push above this high. If it can't do that, it's still a corrective structure. So there's no guarantee this 5 will happen. If it's a corrective structure, it's just gonna go. It could go all the way back down and break the low, and then go much lower. So we just don't know. But I'm labeling it like in a bullish sense, because we did have like, it did look like a pretty good, deep and intense enough correction. But if the market wants to continue lower, it can. And this is where, until we get this 5th wave, 4 and 5. So yeah, I mean, let's go to the 45-minute. So you don't have, so yeah, this is your 3. So you really need another high. And then of course, once you get that high, there'll be a big pullback, right? Because they'll have to correct this, a big pullback and then out. And Dogecoin had a technical breakdown with that big sell-off recently. A lot of, again, that was one of the casualties, technical casualties of the market. Let's take a look at where I think I had this as our short area, and it tagged it to the penny. Like literally to the frickin' penny. Look at that. Look at the wick. Exactly. To the 100th of a cent. Exact. Looks like 5 down, 3 up. I don't know. I don't know. We'll see. But is it going lower? Absolutely. Could it break this high? Now, if it breaks this high, the short's negated. I would close the short out and reshort it at a new level. But who knows? The market hasn't decided. The market's confused. It doesn't know. It's like I said. I think CPI may help give it its next, push, one way or the other. But it could also be this crash formation forming right now. It could be that. And if that's the case, this is where you go with like a leverage short, right? But it could easily unravel if all it needs to do is push a little higher. They squeeze it. And then two will come back up. This would be a double correction higher, and then it'll come maybe to 13 cents. But right now it was in the sell area. It got a nice rejection. So if I was shorting it, I would just stay short and see what happens. See if you get lucky and that could have been another great entry, another great trade setup that I gave somebody on this. Maybe it was even you. All right, Megan, First Solar. Yeah, I still think First Solar's got more some big downside ahead of it with the TAN ETF, with oil going down, but the short term it's going to be a little different because we have this oil situation in the Middle East trying to work itself out. So here, let's just take a step back. We had this impulse down. We broke the low. Now we're in 2. We could easily, if oil wants to pump because of this Iran stuff, maybe we'll get that in First Solar. Oh, I'm sorry, in TAN. Okay, so in TAN, so that would pump First Solar, right? So First Solar's chart would be very similar. You see there's a B wave. So it's a very similar chart. And then we would raise the target based on B and how high B goes. So I wouldn't be surprised. So let's get rid of the target for now. I think we're trading in this connector wave right now. It seems to me like it wants to go a little bit higher in the connector here. And, maybe it could get to 241, 250 before it finds a stopping point. But it does look like it wants to go higher in the connector wave. Something like that. And then at some point, some news will hit that will destroy oil, destroy it in the market. And so this leg will happen, but I think this is probably market related, the recessionary. This could be even, you may have to wait till like September, October before you get this C wave. This may just chop around here for a while. But I do think it looks like it wants to do something like this right now. But breaking this low, I think destroys the technical chart for the bottom. I think it sets you up for more downside later. All right, less L. Let's take a look at those for you. AL. Alu- AL, I would imagine you're meaning it's Air Lease Corporation. All right. Looks like there's some kind of 5 waves up there with a big 3 wave move down, kind of like a flat, right? And then you kind of came back up only in 3, and then down in 3, and up in 5. CBA. So yeah, so you're probably still in like a, this is still probably in a very big corrective move of some kind. It's a mess. So I think yeah, the best way to try to label this is going to have to be in 3 waves, because there's just, I just don't see another way of doing it to make it make any sense to me. So there's no real good way to label this other than this way for now. Something like that is what I'm thinking. And then whenever this finishes, a big pullback similar to what you saw here, but take probably years to play out. So I think you got this setup. You'll lose the setup if this if you break this RSI here, then that setup's gone, or you break this low here at 34. So this is what I'm thinking. But if any of those things happen, then it's something else. But this is probably what I'm seeing develop here. And you'll just have to decide if you want to stick your neck out and try to. And again, I think you said you're looking for short trades. I wouldn't short this. I wouldn't short this until this Y played out, and I'll try to see if we could have a short area that we could look at here for it. Maybe 63, 6, maybe in this general area right there. That would be the area if you want to try it. But I wouldn't short, no way I would short it there. You could be shorted into a big pump. So yeah, you want to be careful there. The next one is AN, AutoNation. Looks like that's one we've done before. So we did get the buy here, and then we came up. So it looks like that was the 4. So we were looking for a longer 4 wave, and we didn't get it. But let's just look at a couple things. So we did get the bounce. We still have massive bearish divergence. So it just looks like the 5th wave extended is what happened. Is this 5th wave is extended. In it like yeah, the fifth wave's extending. You know, we have to wait and see. So yeah, it looks like the 5th wave extended here. like that. You know, you could even try to put that like this even. Let's go to the shorter time frame. You have a little bit of bearish divergence, so it actually could be finished here on that peak. It's just tough to say if that 4 is in or not, and we're in that 3 right there. So it's really tough to say. So it looks like the fifth wave extended. We did have this buy opportunity. It just played out like that. So it's, again, we're looking for a big dramatic pullback soon to find more support again in the future. Because this 4 needs to be something to the extent like it's going to be probably years of a bear market coming when this finally gets set. This 4, when this 4 comes in, but it should be getting, we should be getting there. It may already be there. Just don't know. We just don't know. And I could even try to, yeah, I guess I have to put that there. Yeah, it's hard to label. Like I got to force the label because I could probably put the 3 there, put the 4 there, and then say we're still missing 5. So it's very, very tricky. So I would just say that at any moment it should end. This cycle should end at any moment, as long as you have all this bearish divergence, especially on the higher time frames, like you have here. All right, let's keep going. Jonathan, MLGO. Yeah, let's take a look at that for you. So it looks like we called this going into the abyss. That's basically what's happened to it. But at some point, it's gonna counter trend rally, right? It's got to have a counter trend rally. So let's go back and look at this thing. All right, let's see what we got. So there's, let's go to the higher time frame. All right, so you're definitely in a wave 3. It looks like should be coming to an end soon. Looks like a wave 3 that should be ending any moment. Yeah, I think you got this wave 4 happening already. I just don't know how big of a bounce you're going to get in wave 4. It could be just this meek here. It could go a little bit more. Then you want to see a wave 5 with some bullish divergence taking shape on the higher time frame, on the 4 hour at least. So it does look like this 3 is pretty much done. The RSI looks like it's already corrected. It looks like you're broke your downtrend. So my guess is you're bouncing in 4 now, and you got to let this play out. And if you look at this wave 2, it was very short but very intense. This could do the same thing. So we just don't know, but I bet it will fail. But obviously, this was a really good short opportunity. But a lot of that opportunity is probably gone now. Okay. All right, let's go to Silly Goose, ASPS, Altasource. So you broke that low, so we're just going to have to impulse it down. More than likely, that's typically what happens. Actually, it looks like probably a 5th wave we're in of some kind, unless we erase divergence. Yeah, see, we're in a 5th wave. So this impulse is almost over, this whole impulse. You took that divergence out there. So it became like a 1-2, 1-2. So yeah. So it's getting close probably to the end of this impulse, as long as it doesn't erase divergence. It's gonna be hard to time it, but obviously if you're short, you know, it probably isn't a good idea right now, given the count I'm looking at. It looks like a 1, 2, 3, 4, 3. Maybe we're in 4 here, something like that. But whenever this finishes, more than likely it's going to come all the way back up to this $17, $18 area on a massive pump, because it'll correct the whole thing. It'll correct this whole move. Oh, wait, we're missing one. Never mind. May not go that high. There you go. So we still have another 4, another kind of big. So it may not go that. May go up to like 10, and then another 5, and then you'll get a bigger move. So I think that's kind of where you are with it right now. But as you can see, it's got more downside coming with a pretty big pump that could really happen at any moment with this 4. But that should fail. Okay, the big ganks. Let's see, SQQ. Let's take a look at that. So SQQ hit buy area today, which I showed on my channel multiple times. Here, as you can see, so far we've done pretty well in it. Hitting the sell here, hitting the buy here, hitting the sell here, and now we're in the buy again. Now, as you can see, it goes pretty deep sometimes. This one didn't go that deep. This one went kind of deep. So can it go deeper? Yes. But this is kind of the area where you want to, you know, if you want to try to play this, you want to buy it here. But obviously the stop loss, though, is at 714. So it's a big risk area still. But, you know, nothing's easy. But in the setup this is the setup. You have 3 swings down. So it's the setup. So you either try to play that setup, maybe you come up to 12, maybe hit 13. We'll see how this plays out. The other alternative is X chops around, you'll bounce and fail again. But I think you're going to get a bounce out of here. You get a bounce, even if you get a bounce to 10 and fail and go back, you know, you can buy it back down here. But I think it's got another swing higher coming. Bitcoin, yeah, Bitcoin's acting very erratic. People very desperate, you know, for people to buy it right now. Looking at this as 5 waves down, and then you had a 3-wave sell area, got rejection, and then it double corrected. The new target was here, and boom, got rejected again. So, you know, ultimately it has to stay below 62,765 to keep this bearish intact. But there is something you need to understand about this X wave again, because it could still chop around. Here, if you look at W here, so this is X. So this was the first leg down. Here's our first leg down. Now look at the connectors. Look what it did here. Look at the mess. It went up, it went down. It even went up and broke this high, but just barely broke it to only go back down again and come up, and finally made the low. So this thing could do the same type of action. So I think it's going to be very erratic and choppy. I mean, it could do something like this, where you come up, you come down, you come up, you just break the high. You don't go up to 60. You know, you don't get that move. It just breaks it, and then it goes back down, and then, you know, then it comes back up erratically, and then, you know, then it really drops. So I think it's going to be like really erratic like that. I think that's what I'm sensing. I doubt it's just going to give us a nice clean drop, given what just happened today in the last 48 hours. I think there's people so desperate to buy this, but they're like trading against the current, and the ocean wants to go to 42,000. Eventually, it will get there, like it did here. Eventually, you got there. So, but the path to get there is going to be very erratic and like crazy. I think. I think it's not going to be like, oh, boom, we're there. It's about. So I think if you're trading Bitcoin in here, it's going to be chopped. You'll be chopped up to death. The best thing to do is just if you didn't buy it yet, or you didn't stick your neck out to buy it here, then you really just have to wait. You have to be patient and just wait it out. You can't just be trying to time this. And they're really, yeah. I mean, right now there is a short still opportunity, but like I was saying, if we take this peak out like we did in the previous leg, we just come up, run those stops, and then we drop again, only to come back up again and drop. So I think you could get a short setup here. It's still valid. It's still valid. But once you take this high out, then I definitely won't be trading it. I won't be trading it until it comes back down into these lower areas, and just have to be patient. But again, like I said, they're trying to save it. They're trying. There's a lot of erratic price action on this stuff. Oil is in an area that should be. So we took this path of a bigger connector. So I'm looking for one more push higher with some bearish divergence. So I'm still looking for like 80 bucks. It could even come all the way up to 82, even tag the 80, 83 even. So as long as you keep that divergence, everything looks okay. So that's what I'm looking for. I'm looking for a little more upside. And then I don't know. I guess a catastrophe in the market or something. I don't know. Now, if this high is taken out, I've mentioned this before, the bearish case is negated in oil on the shorter time frame, because then it's a bigger X. It's not negated because we still get Y eventually, but what will happen is this will turn into like an A, B, and then this will be like a 1, 2, I'm sorry, like a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and we'll probably get up to like $116, $120 oil somewhere up in this area here, in a move like this, and then it ends, and then we'll get Y later. So which would negate this triangle that I have. So we just don't know for sure where we're going to go with it. So we'll just have to. That's why, I mean, there is trades here. Like there is a short area here, but you would have to close it at 84.48. So there is a short opportunity in oil here, but you'll have to leave that short if this high breaks. I'll draw this. So see, it's a pretty big area. So there's a lot of risk. So it's a risky short. But this one played out. Maybe this one will play out. Who knows? We'll have to wait and see. All right, Anonymous. Who are the market makers? Are they actively trying? They don't know Elliott wave patterns. They don't care about the Elliott wave. Isn't used by anybody that I know of that has that kind of money. They just they're you know, and this is my what I suspect is the big market makers out there, or like the people that can move this market. They're probably trading on the long and short side for political purposes, or to you know, drive policy, drive decision making. Like, look what it did to Iran. Probably they think they were about to go in and bomb the shit out of everybody. They dropped the market that weekend, that Monday, scared the shit out of everyone to put pressure on the politicians to come to a diplomatic solution. And look, they delayed their attack. So I think the market makers, the people, the billionaires, use the market to control policy. And because right before key decisions, we saw this with the China trade deal Trump did, the market will apply pressure because the politicians allow it to, because they're slaves to the market. There's still got a bull market undertone where higher indices has to happen at all costs, despite your values or your personal belief. Like, so I think at the end, higher indices always prevail. And so I think market makers use that to their advantage, and they move the price to persuade people's and put pressure on politicians and leaders and policymakers. Look what they did to the Bank of Japan. Oh, you're going to end the carry trade? Oh, no, you're not. Look what they did, and now, oh shit, oh yeah, no more, no more. Yeah, we'll go back to not raising rates anymore. You'll see how quick they change. So I think the markets are a tool to make people change their mind because the governments don't have a backbone. But one day that they'll be trapped and they'll have to follow through. Like if Israel just decides to go go crazy in Iran and blow shit up. I mean, Iran can't care about at some point you can't care about the indices. Russia, like you can't care about the indices. Like you just have to go, then it's like an existential, and I think that's what will end the grand super cycle where they'll try to assert that pressure, but it won't work and the shit will just unravel and the decisions that they're trying to have made won't be made. And because of that, then, the indices collapse because then it's like, oh shit. So I think that's what happens, but of course we don't have enough money to do that, and they don't care about Elliott waves. Elliott waves is just a graphical representation of human sentiment that we try to mirror. That's all it is, and that's all we do. But Elliott waves in itself can't tell you how to trade. You have to use RSIs, you have to use all these other things that I do, Fibonacci levels, and all that. So it's not just about Elliott wave. It's not just about Elliott wave. It's about a lot of combining a lot of other techniques, and then you follow other people that use other methods, and they align. And when everybody aligns, then maybe you have a good setup for a trade idea. And that's how I look at the market. But yeah, so that's my view on the market, guys. But yeah, I think it's used to drive policy because let's just face it, the politicians are slaves of the indices because they have stock. Jay Powell has stock. They all own stocks. They don't want their stocks to go down so that people could, put pressure on politicians by dropping the market. They'll do it. Oh, you're going to go to war? No, you're not. Oh, you're not going to sign that trade deal? Oh, yes, you are. And they control. The politicians are being controlled by the market, but at some point they're going to have to walk away from that. I think, and that's when I think the indices collapse, is when that has to happen. That's just my conspiracy theory. All right, so our RCL, let's go to RCL here. Let's see, I thought we had that. Let's go to transportation. There it is. All right, so we got this 4 wave. Looks like that played out. Now that looks like a beautiful correction. So that one looks finished. Yeah, that one's finished. That one's finished. So this 4 is in here. Now this is pulling back. Looks like in a 1-2-1-2 setup of some kind. Something like that. We'll have to double check the RSI. See how you broke that low. Could it be a run-in flat? No, it's a corrective move. So it's still okay. So we don't know if 4's down. 4 could be done, but this is just a corrective move. So it could actually take another swing down. So we don't know. We need to break the high with some divergence. So I could label it this way. This is a fair label. I could say that. Okay. So we don't know. We don't know. Are we going to get something like this? We come back down to 115, or is it a flat like this? And you get like a flat. I'll be trying to play for the flat if I was thinking of it, looking at the account. You do something like that. So again, too many possibilities. I'll just label it like this, but there's right now you don't have that 5th wave. It's a corrective move, so there is a lot. There could be massive downside risk still until you take this high out. So you just don't know. And again, this could turn into a flat, great, but it may not. It may just drop. So you don't even want to really buy it unless you put your stop at 129.77. So all we know is it should make another high before you top in this in another 3 and get another big pullback. So this is in a tough situation here. It's a tough one. We have to wait and see. We don't have enough data to really know. All right, guys, I went through all the super chats. Let me just scan some comments, take a look at what you guys want here. Everyone wants about VIX and stuff, so I'll give you my thoughts on the VIX real quick. So the VIX had an historical day. It was the fastest drop in percent in history. And there was a chart I was looking at where every time the VIX has dropped essentially to where, I guess the way the chart I was looking at, I should have retweeted this. If I find it again, I will. Is this was like graphing like this intensity, the speed, like percentage of drop in over time, and this drop by percent in such a short time was in it was way down in this area. It was like down 70% in like such a few days. The only other time it's ever done anything close to that, we've had major spikes higher. It was always on a back test or like a big breakout. So it was like on, let me see if I can find one here. Like in the COVID crash, where's one I was looking at? If I can find it. Here, if I can find it. There, this one. You see how we went from here and crashed all the way down? Of course, what we did the last 5 days is even more severe, but then look what happened next. Holy shit. So that's what usually happens when the VIX acts that way. Now, I would never tell you guys to trade that, but I just thought that was fascinating. That's fascinating to me. The VIX has fallen the fastest we've ever seen it. So again, looking at it again from a big picture, we're on this trend line, okay? This trend line, tagged it, go up, tag it, go up, tag it, went vertical, tag it. I don't know, maybe we'll go up tomorrow. Maybe CPI won't be so rosy. We break this trend line, that's pretty bearish for the VIX. You gotta say if that trend line breaks, then really it's going to go even lower, I guess. So that's why for me the VIX is like, I'll play it in the CPI, play it, but then if that doesn't work out, I'm done with it. I won't trade it. I'll just leave it, because this could just keep going down, and we don't need to be in a losing trade. But the setup's still here. We erased divergence. That's good. So this is a triple corrective move. We're in the buy area. For a triple. This is where you buy the darker purple. You have the trend line. So it's like the setup's there. It's so oversold. The 45-minute isn't just going to go to negative 20. It's got a whole new cycle higher coming. Like here, you see all that? Like it's got a whole new 45-minute cycle ahead of it. The 15-minute, you even have a little bit of divergence there. So the 15-minute cycle still has time to play out. So I just look at this and I'm like, yeah, I don't know. So I would say if I was trading it, look for a big bounce in the 45-minute time frame. But then after that, anyone's guess, because then it could go to lower lows and the 4-hour cycle could continue its correction down. Because look, we have more we can go on the 4-hour. So this could bounce. The 45 and 15 bounce, and then this 4-hour, So, or we can bounce. The VIX can make a divergence here, a higher high with a divergent 4-hour. So I don't know. It's just really strange. It's so technically stretched to the downside. Like it needs a relief rally. and it could be quite a big one. So I don't know. So there's no guarantee this is going to happen. It could be just a partial retrace, and you'll have to decide how you want to trade that. And I can't help you. I mean, is there a daily gap on this? I don't see one here. So anyway, we'll have to wait and see. Then UVIX, similar chart. Now UVIX, we did break the trend line. Okay, that's pretty bearish, right? We broke the trend line. Now UVIX has bullish divergence. On the 15, we saw that right here. And then look what came, right? So we know it's not just going to go to like it's gonna have a 15-minute cycle higher. But with this technical break, like I have here, and the 45-minute divergence, more than likely, it's going to come up. Maybe it gets to 10, 11, and it's going to fail. It's going to come back down. So I do like, if I was long this, and I still am, but I probably, if once I get a reaction on the 15-minute, 45-minute, 15-minute, I'm leaving the trade more than likely, no matter whatever the price is, because I just don't believe this is what I see. I said the setup is lost. Now the setup isn't lost in the VIX, but in UVIX, to me the setup's lost. There is a gap up here, by the way. I mean, maybe we get like really lucky and fill it, which would be a gift at 16. But my guess is, yes, the 45-minute cycle has to recover, and when it does, wherever the price is, that's probably all it's going. And then you're going to have to decide. And if it's just a shallow bump in price, then that's all you're going to get. That's what I think is going to happen. That's just my guess, because if you look at the breakdown here, it's technically broke down. The setup's lost. And, you know, the daily, the 4-hour, the 4-hour cycle, obviously we broke that. So, but the 15-minute and 45 way oversold. They need a bigger bounce. The 15 and 45-minute need to trade up in this area, and that is coming soon. And then I think at some point that will probably be, it will probably be up here is what I'm thinking when that happens. And if we're lucky, it's up here. But of course, there's no guarantee. It could be just, we could get that RSI and they could just sell into that. And then we just fill this little gap and that's all you get, to 643, and that's it. So that's why I said this setup's lost, but the VIX itself the setup is still there. But tomorrow, if we break this trend line, then I wouldn't like to trade it either on the long side. But at some point, though, whenever this ends, you're going to get a big move higher, because this has to counter trend. It's got to counter trend, and it is so technically stretched. But I believe a better setup was today to long the VIX. The UVIX not necessarily, but does it do a relief rally? Yes, it's do a relief rally. It's do a relief rally. I think we'll get to 10, 11. Ish. If you're lucky, you get up to 16, 17. These I just have for just entertainment. I doubt it will come up this high. I think we'll have to wait and see how that plays out. Okay. So anyway, that's kind of a detailed update on the VIX. What's 3 different analysis I'll predict in some form of downside soon? Yeah, I know. That's what I'm saying. You guys watch the same people I watch probably on YouTube. I mean, there's only one guy, a couple guys saying new highs, and they're your typical perma bulls. They always say new highs. When I'm feeling sad, I watch them because they make me feel good. The market always goes up because that's what those guys do. They're always hopeful, and I love hopeful people because it makes me feel good when I'm depressed. I watch those videos and I'm like, yeah, the market is never gonna go to zero, and it won't. But short term, technically, I've got too many smart people saying it's going to go down. That's why it would be really wild if it doesn't. Okay, so let's go to the big cap tech and just see what those look like. Because people were asking me. Apple, still in the sell area today. So just hanging out there. All right, nothing going wrong there. Let's look at how's Disney doing? Oh shit, it broke a pivot, huh? Oh no, it's still down here. Okay. So, but it's breaking that. We all knew this is what's going to happen to Disney. I mean, I'm not even going to label this. I doubt it's bouncing. It's probably going to break that low. Facebook, yeah, any moment now. We're hoping for that turn. Netflix, a little bit higher, so we can change our target a little bit. Move that target up. Tesla was a tricky, right? Because it negated a triangle, so the new area that could reverse is at 213. So maybe like one more little pump tomorrow. We'll see how that goes. That's the downtrend line too. We'll see what happens. AMD, the canary in the coal mine, needs more upside. So we didn't have perfect alignment in the market for selling for a few things like that, like Tesla, like AMD. But could it end here? Sure, it could end early. I think, it could end early, but the better place for it to end is at 145.83. We'll just have to wait and see. Microsoft, sell area is at 421, so that has a little more upside too. Okay, so there's a little more upside there. NVIDIA is in a sell area today. Sell area. And this morphed into ABC correction. Now, the problem is it's a B, right? So we've already talked about these connectors. It may not just go straight down. It may do something like this, right? Where you do something like this. And then earnings, it does that. And then you fall. So be careful. Don't get too hopeful, bears, But I believe sellers are coming in now. Maybe you get lucky and get this push and finish this correction out. All right. So let's look at how's Trade Desk doing. Yeah, stuck in this area trying to FOMO more people in, just can't do it. Let's see if there's anything else out there that I'm interested in looking at. AMC, GME. AMC, it almost broke that high. Still stuck. Could be so many things. I'm showing you a very bullish setup, but there's no guarantee. It could easily do a flat again. So it's really in a dead area. GME, I gave that update earlier, so you guys can listen to that. Let's look at the Hang Seng and see what's going on with the Hang Seng. Could still go a little bit higher in B before you get the push down. Nikkei, as long as this RSI is below this peak, it's still a 1-2-1-2 setup, which is very bearish. If it could push a little bit higher, it could turn this into a corrective structure. That would be, I think, first bullish sign for the market structure that I've come across, if that could happen. Yen, Japanese yen, what's that doing? Because everybody's fixated on the Japanese yen. It's strengthening. So I put this in. We had this massive, look at that. But obviously they bought up that yen as much as possible on that. And then it's starting to break down. If that's the case, that's probably signs a sell-off could be coming. If this is really happening, if you're a bull, you want to see another pump, yen weakness. And of course, the 20-year did get that rejection. Market makers ran that stop, and now it's moving again, ultimately down to these levels. Is what we want to see. All right, let's keep going through your comments, and then I'll wrap it up. Bonds, TLTs, like the bonds, it looks like TLT should be going higher, but it'll be choppy because it's a wave 5. Let's see here. Hold on one second. I just gotta do something here. WNs. Let's see here. I'll be right back. All right. So let me come back here. All right. So if we get idiots on our live stream now, I'm just going to start blocking people on YouTube, so you won't be able to watch it anymore. And you won't get this, so you put stupid stuff in the comments, either about me or foul language and stupid shit like that, you're gone. I'm blocking you out. So let's see here. Yeah, Lily is stretched. It's like Meta similar. It's just kind of big B wave. It could be the VIX. Yeah, that could be the support zone. We just don't know exactly, but I think the VIX has to make a move higher tomorrow, or I think the VIX could really be in trouble. And I did UVIX, so I sorry I missed that, but I obviously circled back on that for you. Starbucks got a pump today. I think because the UVIX, the structure broke down, it may only go back up to fill the gap that it had. So there's, honestly, it's not a good instrument to trade anymore. I mean, I'm just giving you my honest opinion. It's now just kind of gambling because you're going to trade it because the VIX is going to bounce, but I can't tell you where we're going to go. I mean, some people, I'll just tell you this, some people think the VIX will retrace to the 30s. Okay, we're at 18. So what is that? That's about, you know, maybe 100% double. So what does that UVIX do? UVIX will go up 150% maybe. So that would be about 10, 11. So yeah. So if that happens, UVIX should hit 10 or 11 or more. If the VIX, but I don't know. I can't tell you what's going to happen. I wish I did. But like I said, the setup on this is lost. So if you're going to buy this, you're just kind of like, you're really just playing the VIX bounce here, and then you're just hoping to get something out of it. And like I said, it may only go back up up to like 659, 680. That may be it. We just don't know. I think what's going to happen is the 45 and 15-minute cycle will come up higher, and then whatever price it is, that's it. Then it's going to be a meltdown. So if the 45-minute cycle is trading at the 80, 90 RSI, and you're up at 11 and 12, then you did it. But if you're trading at 6 and 7, and the 45-minute is at 80 or 90, then that's it. It's not going much higher after that. That's what I'm saying, guys. So you're just but this isn't something I would recommend trading anymore because we broke down. Like I said, I told you guys the stop loss area, it stopped out. Now, if you want to stay in it, that's just kind of gambling on because you're hoping the VIX will bounce on CPI. That's the play. That's the play, right? It's nothing to do with the charts. This is all just the play. Is you're hoping the CPI will cause a sell-off, which will cause a VIX spike, which will cause a UVIX spike, and then I would recommend getting out of it. If that doesn't happen, then I would just dump it and get out of it, and that's what I'm doing. But you can't do what I do because I always change my mind, or it may be a loss, and you can't you gotta understand what I'm saying. The setup that I gave yesterday is gone because we stopped out, right? I said the stop level was like 5 something, we stopped out. So there's no more setup here. There's no more trade in the UVIX. But the VIX, there is a trade still. And today, and I think it's its last stand. I think tomorrow is a very important day for the bears because if they can't pull it off and the market really surges higher, then you're looking at a much bigger connector wave. And I did show this scenario earlier where X wave extends up even higher than people imagine, and it's something like this where you have an A, a B, and a C, and you come all the way up and fill this gap. That's what could happen tomorrow if we don't get this turn. So that's why there's always risk in everything you do. So nothing's guaranteed. So that's why I think tomorrow's an important day for the market, depending on what happens. But everybody's got to take the risk they're comfortable, and a lot of people are long, and if we do that, that'll be great for them. But at some point, this will end, and we'll get this move down. This is just a more classical look. This is more classical Elliott wave, and we saw that here, and it worked out. So we're just trying to see if it works out again. It may not. So good luck. Okay, yeah, Barat. Yeah, it looks like I did miss that super chat, man. Sorry about that. Let's go to your question. ETH. ETH is in this four wave. I'm looking for one more wave down. I don't know how high it's gonna go, but it should make one more push lower, down to 5. Okay, now there is a very bearish case that this is a 1-2-1-2 and it collapses, but that would be like everyone's worst nightmare come true, right? So it's probably not realistic. But I do think it's got one more low. It's got a flat correction here. So I think it's got one more low. All right, Solana, how's that doing? Yeah, we actually called the turn in Solana. I think a lot of people didn't believe it would happen, but it happened. Just like a lot of people in the market now don't think it's going to go back down, but eventually it happened. So here we are. We predicted this turn down, and why? No one thought that would happen, but it did. And then we came up. We had this tight short area. That is kind of where we got the reversal, and so now I'm looking for this push down and see to this buy area ultimately at $90 or $80, somewhere around this area. So as long as we're below 164, you could expect more downside here. So yeah, I would think of it that way. Now, there is a possibility B pushes up a little bit more, but there's no guarantee. So it's tough to call again. It could be really erratic. Like look how long this leg took, right? Really erratic, and finally it dropped. So it may be a little more erratic, and then we may get that drop, you know. So that's what we're looking for. Okay. Nifty. How's that doing? Nifty's pulling back in this 4 wave. I'm going to give you a buy area setup. This one looks kind of weak. See, this one wasn't bouncing like the indices were, the American. So buy area would be 23,315 on this 4. Right here would be a buy area if we can push it. Now, if this keeps going higher, we just lift the target higher. Okay, that's how I do it. Something like that. All right, good luck on that. This is a buy setup in Nifty if this can play out. All right, thanks for the super chat. Definitely did the VIX. Nikkei, I looked at the Nikkei already. Starbucks, yeah, it was crazy. Yeah, Bowen's crazy because they were like, oh, they got record orders or something like that. But then they said, well, it was a record because last year was so bad. So it's like, oh, well, was that really a record then? Yeah. So, yeah, well, you have to look at ARC Wellness Center. We may be extreme bearish, right, or bearish in the market, but you have to look at the price action because the market participants vote through price action, and you could see on the shorter cycles, there's nothing extremely bearish about that, right? So obviously not. The shorter cycle, everyone's extremely bullish, right? Because the price is the ultimate measure of people's sentiment. Like there's only 143 viewers on my channel, but there's probably tens of millions of market participants. And right now on the 45-minute time frame, they're euphoric. The VIX had a record drop. They're as complacent as you can be. Yeah, you can be. They're not buying. Do you think they have protection? Do you think anyone was buying puts? Because they would, the VIX would be higher. They're not. So the market is telling you the 143 people here may be bearish, but everyone trading this market isn't, because the market is telling you the opposite in the shorter cycles. The VIX and all these stocks are telling you the market is voting that they're very complacent and they're very excited and euphoric right now, and they're all in on this pump. That's what this is telling me. That's what the tens of millions of people buying this market are doing. yeah, there's a handful of bearish people because we're the ones trading it technically, but I'm sure some people are buying it that that are on this channel too. You can confess, put in the chat if you went long today. Not that you went long here. Somebody bought today. Someone FOMO'd in. It's okay. Raise your hand. You FOMO'd in because it was hard. This is hard. I mean, look at 400 points. It could go up a 400 tomorrow. Who went long today? Who FOMO'd in? Confess. I'm sure there's more people than I would bet. Not everyone's bearish on my channel. I'm willing to bet more than half the people actually went long today. Bought something. I'm willing to bet. Just what I'm thinking. I could be wrong, but that's what's happening. So the price action here is telling me shorter time frames. Now longer time frame, 4 hour, yeah, it's not that bearish, right? It's kind of indifferent. That's why I say we got to be careful of this trap in the connector. This trap in the connector, okay? Because you could get this to play out. Again, it's like this. You come down and you come up, and then you finish X. We see this all over. Look how many symbols I analyzed tonight that did this. This would be perfect because it would reset the 45, reset the 15, the 4 hour pulls back a little, and then you get this massive pump, and that gets the 4 hour up into these areas. Then you're at max bullishness, even on the longer time frame. So and then this also shows like the VIX would still break down. So this actually looks. I'm willing to bet this is what's going to happen. This is what's going to happen. So if you did decide to short or buy puts today, I wouldn't, you may not want to be too greedy because if you get that B wave, you may not get that knockout punch. You may get something like that and then boom, back up. And then the knockout punch comes later in September. Okay? Just saying. That's what I'm saying right now. Yeah, SQQ was a good setup today. Of course, the box was big, like I mentioned, and so it could still go a little bit lower in there. But everybody's got to do what's best for you, guys. I really hope I hope it all works out. Trading this connector waves is always dangerous. Very dangerous trading connector waves in any trade, even the trade today. But you got to trade something. I was on the sidelines through this whole pump because I want to stay on the short side of the market for right now. That's what we did here. It worked out. Guys, when we were here, people were laughing at me for saying short. And look, we crashed. No one expected this crash, right, guys? No one did. But but the short was there. So that's what I'm saying. Like the unexpected always happens in the market when everyone thinks they know what's going to happen. They don't know. They don't know. But let me tell you this: if the CPI comes in hot tomorrow, where it takes rate decreases off the table in September that hot, this market's gonna fucking collapse. It is gonna, it's gonna be a bloodbath, an epic bloodbath. So that's all I'm gonna say. That's the news event risk. Is it gonna happen? I doubt it, but who knows? Who knows? Unless you have a copy of the CPI report and you were trading it, who knows? But anyways, guys, appreciate it, man. We're going to head out, and we'll see what happens. Big day tomorrow. Could be a big day for the Bears. If not, we'll just have to play it by ear. I definitely would. If we don't get that reversal on CPI with the VIX, it's like then you're really just betting on the war with Iran to get the VIX going. Because then if that, then it's like it's just not there. It's just not happening. So the VIX is kind of a binary thing. You've got CPI, you've got the war with Iran. If those two things don't happen, I think the VIX is just going to keep bleeding down until something really bad happens.